Hare Krishna, dear devotees, dear friends, dear Renu, answering one of your questions here. We were recently in New Braj, in the Sequoia National Park area of California, for a 1-week spiritual yoga festival, practicing the path of bhakti, devotion for Krishna and his beloved Sri Radha, his eternal consort. So there's a question that has come up in one of the talks of the Swamis. On one side there's this question that what is prema, or the highest perfection of divine love, that cannot be experienced in this physical body. It's something that is experienced in the transcendental body. We talked about this a little yesterday in our class. I'm going to address the second part of that question from the morning lecture of another Swami who spoke there. He said that Krishna, the Supreme God, Krishna, has his family, his associates, his parents, Yashoda, his mother, Nanda, his father, and that they have a certain kind of natural love and relation or attraction with Krishna that is not in living entities in this world, which are described as conditioned souls. We do not possess that relationship. The proper understanding is that there is different categories of conscious entities. Krishna, the supreme conscious entity, his counterpart Sri Radha, who is considered self-same as him. They are two manifestations of the same essence of the supreme consciousness. And then there are the separated parts and parcel called Viminangsa Tattva, which means part and parcel of the Godhead, one in quality and different in quantity. It's described to be like sparks of the great fire or photons of light emanating from the sun. Krishna's own family members, his eternal associates, they are called Nityasiddhas, eternally liberated, eternally related to him, and they are of a different category of conscious entities than conditioned souls in this samsara or material existence. However, both kinds of the categories of conscious entities, by their nature, they are of the quality of possessing love for God. The idea is that is their constitutional nature, to love and to serve God, or the supreme entity. Just like iron filings are attracted to a magnet, the conscious entities, which are the finite particles of consciousness, are attracted to the infinite consciousness, the supreme consciousness, the supreme entity, Krishna. Some are in a covered state, some are in the liberated state. There are different stages of consciousness: budding, blossoming, and fully blossomed consciousness. That means fully realized divine love. And at that point, the consciousness will transcend the material form and enter within its own spiritual identity, or spiritual nature, spiritual form. So therefore, the culmination of that sadhana or practice leads you to the achievement of prema, divine love. This is the conception. Now, is it fair, you could say, that we are in this conditioned state, God is in the liberated state, his associates, he is blissful there. Why do we have to perform some practice to go there? And why is prema something that we have to achieve beyond this material state? This is something that the material body is limited. We have to accept that fact. It's limited, it decays, it's made of matter, and the consciousness is spirit. And so as we evolve in our consciousness, it's not something that we lament or we regret that we give up this material form. We very happily embrace our spiritual identity and spiritual form. Like a snake will give up its outer skin, in a similar way, the soul will naturally give up the material skin, the material form, and achieve its spiritual form. It's not something to lament about. It's actually a very blissful process. But even in this material form, we can experience a very heightened state of happiness, a level of love, you could say. Love itself has many different levels. In English we say love. In Sanskrit there are many gradations of this experience of love. The highest level is called prema. That divine love is experienced within divine form. But bhav, which is a form of spiritual ecstasy, that is experienced in this body. And when we experience that bhava in this body, or spiritual ecstasy, that point, it reached to such an experience that we transcend this body. It's described to be like lightning. The example of lightning was given not to say that the body cannot tolerate it. The example of lightning is that it's described that the spiritual form is achieved spontaneously as the material form is given up, like two simultaneous lightning strikes. As the spiritual form is achieved, naturally the material form is given up. Such forms of the devotees in this body form are considered holy and sacred, and are even given samadhi, or a sacred ceremony, and placed within a sacred site, because those devotees have achieved the final perfection in that form, in that material form through which they achieve perfection, so they are considered sacred. So the idea here is that this is not something that we are lamenting about. Internally, by nature, we are the servant and the beloveds of God. Servant meaning we are part and parcel, finite in quantity, but same in quality. So we are attracted naturally. Just like iron is attracted to a magnet, just like a part is attracted to the whole. It's of the same nature, therefore we are attracted. We should not think we are of a different nature. We are Satchidananda, eternally existing. We are conscious. We are of the nature of bliss. So we are naturally attracted towards Krishna. The process of sadhana is to remove the coverings of ego and desires separate, or attachments to this world separate from Krishna, or the Supreme Entity. So we should not think it is Krishna's fault that we cannot experience prema in this body. Again, as I said, prema is the highest perfection of divine love. But we feel attachment, we feel bliss, we feel happiness, we feel love, all within this body as well. But that final achievement, that's something we happily embrace, because we want to be with Krishna in his realm. He is calling us on his flute to join his dance, the rasa dance. Therefore we are willingly, eagerly giving up anything that is holding us back from entering his realm in the best way possible, or what is a suitable form to engage in lila, or pastimes with him. So we should not be so worried what form, this form, that form. If we are connected to Guru and Vaishnavas, those saintly persons who are holding us, cherishing us, sheltering us, protecting us, giving love and affection, then gradually we can progress in spiritual life. I know there have been different questions about turning away from God and passive and active rejection, and we can discuss these different points. But really we should think, once I'm turning towards, how do we turn towards Krishna? Accepting the shelter of Sri Guru and practicing the process of devotion. This is a very sweet and loving process. The process is sweet, the goal is sweet. Therefore we should not be sad or disturbed. Everyone who is in this world is by choice, and they're experiencing happiness and distress and the duality of material nature by choice. And we can also make the choice to be with Krishna in his beautiful existence. This world is also very splendid. Why? Krishna says everything wonderful in this world is a small emanation of my potency. He says whatever is wonderful in this world is like a spark of my splendor. So this world is also, nothing is wrong, nothing is bad. It is how we use it, whether we are harming others or whether we are serving and taking care of things, leaving it better than we came to. As we say, we should leave a place better when we left than it was when we came. So this world is there for service, and it is there as part of the creation of the Lord, part of the pastimes of the Lord, and we honor and cherish it, we serve it, and in this way life is blissful. We should not worry. Satchidananda, we are of the essence, or the nature of consciousness, eternal life and bliss, whether in this plane or that plane. But there is suffering in this world, because this is the duality of material nature is there, happiness and distress, heat, cold, winter, summer, night and day. And there are three kinds of material sufferings. Tritap, adhyatmik, adibhotik, adidhaivika, caused by others, caused by nature, caused by oneself, our own mind and body. But this is all of the nature of material life and the actions and reactions of karma, material desires, vasanas. All of that is going on like a wheel cycle. But when we make that choice to be with Krishna, that is always available to us. Therefore Krishna comes again and again to remind us of him, and by his very beautiful pastimes he attracts us to his realm. So really there's nothing to... We should think anyhow we should make use of our human life in this opportunity we have to progress, and we should be happy to achieve that blissful state. And really the mood of selfless love and devotion is that wherever I am, wherever you place me, as long as I can serve and be with your devotees, I am happy. Krishna says in the Sastra, Ye me jana bhakta partha na me bhakta shame mata, that if you say you are my devotee, I do not accept you as such. But if you are the devotee of my devotee, if you love and serve my devotees, then you are my dearmost friend and my dearmost devotee. So that is our aspiration. Whatever happiness Krishna wants to give us in this life, in the next life, in a spiritual form and material form, ultimately we will go there. But we are also happy wherever he places us, wherever we can serve. Our mood is causeless devotion, ahaituki bhakti, causeless devotion. That is our mood. And all these things can be understood when they are realized through sadhana in due course of time. Words hold some meaning, but the ultimate realization, that is the highest meaning. That's something that's realized in the heart through practice. Hare Krishna.